Welcome back to another episode of Downloadable Content. We are SJ.
And Alex Herschel. And today we are going to talk about 2025.
Let's get right into it. Alex, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a good time. It's a good time. I've got one more week of school. My classes are all done, so I've just got a couple finals and a paper or two to submit. So it's a little bit busy, but yeah, enjoying it and uh, I'm loving. We were talking about this before we started recording, but here in here in our area, right? Snow's coming down, but it's not too bad, so I'm getting all the benefits of
Mm-hmm.
looking like Christmas time without
Mm-hmm.
some of the awful, awful weather that we sometimes have to deal with. So
Mm-hmm.
things are great. Things are great. What about you?
Very good, very good. Things are great over here. Back from Japan, as you can see. Um, I've got Yoshi with me here. Um, can't really talk about the entire trip because we'd be here all day and another half, but it was wonderful, amazing, but also good to be home. It's been a long time since we've recorded.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
over a month, right?
Yes, yeah.
It's really
And this Yoshi I got in Universal, he's a
cool.
little headband, but I
Yeah.
realized that the headband can go over the headset like perfectly.
Yeah.
So I think he's just gonna be on my head as another member of the podcast from now on.
Sounds great. Sounds
Yeah.
great. Cool. Yeah, I'm sure we'll end up discussing portions of your trip throughout the rest of this episode. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but before we kind of get into talking about this year, Ryan, I'm not entirely sure. We had kind of discussed how the way that I'm gonna frame it is essentially like a second of the year episode, right? Where I'm gonna just
All the non-gaming stuff.
with names
Right.
right for
Yeah.
non-gaming stuff. But before we do that, since it's been so long, we probably need some gaming updates for our wonderful listeners. Do
We
you
ha
want
wait.
you got?
We absolutely do need gaming updates. And just before I forget, though, before we get into that part, I just want to shout out just some of the top 5 episodes or 5 games to get to know me lists that people have posted in the Discord. Zaruma posted Half-Life 2, Rock Band, Super Smash Bros., Silent Hill 2, Mega Man 4, which is interesting. I knew he was a Mega Man guy. I knew about the other games that he enjoyed. I didn't know about Silent 2 though, so that was cool to see. And then JC Hansen posted Super Smash Bros., Fire Emblem, Bloodborne, Fallout New Vegas, and The Wolf Among Us. Um, I tried getting into Fallout, but I couldn't quite do it. The one I tried was Fallout 4. Yeah. I've never tried New Vegas though, and I know he's obsessed with Bloodborne. I watched him play a lot of that game. I would probably be really bad at it, but
I feel
really
like
good
people
lists.
I feel like people who have played Bloodborne love Bloodborne, you know? Like
That's it. It is one of those games. Like I've never heard anyone that's played Bloodborne be like, "Oh, I didn't like it."
yeah,
You know? I guess people that think they wouldn't like it probably don't play it to begin with, but I've only heard really good things about that game. Both very solid lists here.
yeah.
So thank you for sending that in. Always fun to see. In terms of gaming updates, let's see. I actually don't have a lot. So I thought I would be playing a lot more video games in Japan, either before I went to bed or especially on the flights. I played a good amount of Pal World on the way to Japan, and I was having a great time with it. And then I didn't play it like at all during the time in Japan, primarily because we were just all over the place that when we got back to the hotel every night, I just wanted to rest and sleep. And the extent of my entertainment was like either a couple of YouTube videos or, you know, Erica and I would like watch anime and eat dinner or something, and then we were like off to bed. So, not much gaming going on there, but I got back and booted up Power World again, and I just felt friction while I was playing the game, like within myself. And it really just boiled down to I couldn't keep playing it anymore because there's like a lot of things to manage, and I felt like I could never really just like leave my base. So it's like a base building game, right? Slash exploration, slash Pokemon, slash survival, all these different things. I was never really able to just like fully just like go out and explore and play with the pals, right? Like with the fighting and stuff, because I'm always worried about what's happening at the base. I have to manage what's going on at the base. And granted, it's cool because like your pals can do the grinding for you at your base as you set everything up correctly. And that's kind of the appeal of the game is that like you yourself don't have to do a lot of grinding to get materials and stuff. But like there's a certain amount of self grinding you have to do to get to that point as well. Um, and it felt more like a job than a video game. Once I kind of got to that point, and I was like, like I'm not picking up the game because I want to play it and I'm finding enjoyment in it. It's to the point where like I feel responsibility to like grow the base and to play it more so that I can explore. Um, and have more freedom to do these things and defeat these tougher enemies that are like stopping me from exploring certain areas. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. Um, I think it was just too much in one package for me to really be able to enjoy it. Um, I get why people love it. It's definitely a game for some people, but if you're not the kind of person that likes, a lot of resource management, survival stuff, um, base management, right? Like if your base gets raided by enemies, you better make sure you have decent defenses set up and whatnot. So that just got to be, it just wasn't fun for me at a certain point. So I've stopped playing that. Um, I picked up Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. I shout out to my brother Noah, Patreon supporter. He came over to my house and we played a butt ton of that. And then we will be playing that again. I'm going to be playing that with him exclusively, basically, because I know he's been excited for that game, but he doesn't have a Switch 2. And he doesn't want to buy a Switch 2 just to play Age of Imprisonment. So, um, yeah, that's kind of my only new game that I'm playing. I'm still slowly working my way through Pokemon Radical Red. Uh, yeah, I think that's about it. Surprisingly, I haven't played a lot of video games since I've gotten back. And I think that's just because we've had to get Christmas decorations set up and there have just been a lot of things going on. But tell me yours because you tell me you have a juicy update.
Yeah. So when you left, right, I was playing through Tales of Arise when
Mm-hmm.
Liv was around. She was invested in the story. And when she wasn't around, I was playing through Skyrim. Um, and I have stepped away from Skyrim. Um, I got to a point where I was looking at my game clock on my PlayStation. I've put like a good like 25 to 30 hours in because sometimes the game clock kind of rounds weirdly, but
Mm-hmm.
it's in that time frame. So I put a good amount of time into it and was really enjoying it. But I think it boiled down to two problems. It's that I think level scaling is kind of a double-edged sword. Um, and I'm sure there's a way around it because I haven't heard a whole lot of people complain about this specifically with this game. But because the enemies scale with you, like it was hard to feel kind of like a sense of progression within the combat. Like I was upgrading all my weapons, I was, upgrading all my perks and stuff, and it was cool, but like because the enemies kind of scale with your overall level, like it didn't really feel like I was getting stronger.
Hmm.
Um, and so each enemy interaction felt very similar, right? Like you got a swarm of swordsmen, a couple archers, and there wasn't a whole lot of variety to it that I think was starting to become um, less enjoyable just over
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
Um, and then the other one was my path through the game. I started through, I think, as a very traditional thing, right? Like right out the gate, I kind of ended up in Whiterun and then was moving around doing different quests. And at one point, I ended up going over to the part of the game that was an expansion, right? That takes it. You go on the boat and you head to a completely different area, and it's part of Morrowind. It's the guys,
Yeah.
the Dragon Lord, right? And I really liked that. I was like, oh no, yeah, this is very different from what I've seen the rest of the game look like. So I
Hmm.
was enjoying that. But then I wrapped up that storyline and came back. And kind of similar to how the enemy scaling made everything feel kind of the same. I felt like a lot of the overworld was very, very similar to itself. Um, and so I think those two, especially when you mix them together, um, it just felt very samey. And I was like, okay, like after 30 hours, like I appreciate it for what it is. Um, but like I just didn't feel the drive to keep coming back.
Yeah. Hmm.
And it just so happened that as I was doing some Christmas shopping, I actually made a mistake. There's a game that I had left in my cart that I didn't
Okay.
realize I had taken out. So I made an order and saw this game show up and was really confused and went in and kind of figured out, oh no, right, I had been looking at this, didn't take it out. That's why it's here. Um, so I started playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Yo. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only did I play it, but because I've had it, I literally got it like the day that you left for Japan. So I've had it for over a month. And with different days off in the holiday break that I've had, I finished it. And
Oh,
didn't just finish it, platinumed it. Um,
what?
really, really enjoyed it, man. It was a really good time. Um, and we'll have to talk more about this at another point. But afterwards, um, I still had some time, and I remembered that when I bought Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4, I bought the version that came with Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is kind of the half in between game that they had between
Hmm.
Spider-Man 1 and then the one that came out like 2 years ago or something.
Hmm.
And so that's like a mini side game that takes like 6 or 7 hours to 100%. It's more so like a tech demo to show, oh, this is why a PlayStation 5 will be great for Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
it's really short. And so I went through and 100% of that and finished that last night as well. So in the time that you've been gone, I have 100%ed two completely new games that I haven't given any inclination that I was going to be playing anytime soon. Um, but yeah, that is what's happened on my end as far as gaming updates.
Platinuming Ghost of Tsushima is pretty crazy, man. There's a lot of content in that game. That's a
There
big
is.
game.
There is. One I will say it so I 100% in Spider-Man, but I didn't platinum it because it requires a second playthrough. And games that require multiple playthroughs to platinum a game, I think are stupid. I really,
Yeah.
really that's a discussion for another time. But right, like Ghost of Tsushima doesn't have that problem, right? You have to do everything, but you can do it just on one playthrough. And
Yeah, you don't need a new save file.
it was, dude, it was good. Surprised me in a couple ways that I didn't expect, and definitely ended up because because when it was sitting in my car, I was like, oh, like this is kind of different from other games that I've played, whereas like the combat is definitely the focus, whereas a lot of the games that I play end up having like very story based or more on like the art style and the music. So I thought it would bring kind of variety to my catalog.
Mm-hmm.
But even on top of that, I mean, the art direction in that game is fantastic. The score
Bro,
is great, and
it's so good.
the story didn't impact me, I think, in the same way that it did others. But like the themes and kind of the messages of the story overall, I was like, oh no, like I am really vibing with this. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I had a great time. Had a great
Man, you
time.
know what? Oh gosh, I never finished that game. I think I got about halfway through. So there's a point in the game where like a huge northern part of the map like opens up, right? That's when I stopped playing. I got distracted by other games and I just never went back. Here having like you're talking about this, like it makes me want to go back and play. Like that's literally the last game on my PS4 that I have yet to finish. So I might do that actually. That sounds awesome, man. Good
And
stuff.
like it also kind of helps that now having seen that the sequel came out and is also well regarded, and
You're gonna get that for sure eventually, right?
know, at some point, right, I'll probably take a little bit of a break and because I mean Metroid came out and I really want to play Metroid, and
Mm-hmm.
there's
Mm-hmm.
a couple other games that I'm looking to snag a holiday deal on or two. So we'll see. We'll see. But I realized I was looking over my game list here and obviously haven't finished Tales of Arise or Jedi Survivor yet. But outside of that, like every single game on there, I've at least put a decent amount of time into that I feel like I can have a vote on. So, like a lot of the backlog that I actually own is decently cleared at this point. So,
Nice.
perfect time to build that back up again and buy another game that I won't ever play for 2 years. Great. Like Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? That was the first
So
game I bought.
so how's your I know you need your wife around in order to play Tales of Arise,
Mhm.
but how's that? Have you made any progress there? Probably not, right? Based on how many hours you put into these other games.
Let me see. I can't remember the last time that we had talked. I've completed my party, right? I have all 6 party members.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I went on the boat, right? I've played through the boat section. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think I'm down to the last Lord. No, right. I remember telling you that I had recovered a party member that gets taken away from you for a portion.
Yes.
And that's where I've stopped. That's the last time I played because on top of me playing these other games, Liv made the decision to start playing Tears of the Kingdom. Uh,
Oh.
so if I'm playing a game, she wants to be playing Tears of the Kingdom handheld, because she is diving completely in. So like even when I'm playing a game, right, like I can't be playing Tales of Arise because she's playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A little bit. She's cooking through it. She's made a lot of progress already, but I imagine that I probably won't be able to get back to Tales of Arise until the next year, just because she'll be wrapped up with that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so I'm not stepping away from it. I still really enjoy it. I think the you know I am enjoying the combat. I'm invested enough in the story, and seeing where things go. It's just that aspect of it is kind of keeping me from making too much progress right now.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Okay.
So now that we've talked for 20 minutes, let's get into our actual topic for today, won't we?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I was trying to think of the best way to do this, and I wanted to go as chronological as possible, but realized that there are things that have happened at the beginning of the year that relate to things that happen of near the end of the year. And so I'm wondering if it's better to go chronologically or like categorically.
Mine's
What?
like semi-chronological, like a couple things tied together that happen in a couple, different times throughout the year. So those two I just kind of have lumped together. And some of these things, like I don't have a lot to say about it. know,
Sure.
but
Okay.
there were like noteworthy things that happened. So yeah.
Then maybe I'll let you take the lead just because you have more of an idea, and I'll kind of throw in my portions where it makes the most sense in my mind.
Okay. All right. So, what I'll do is I'll kind of start talking about the things that happened throughout this year. Things that were good, things I didn't like as much. Mostly positive, honestly. This has been a really good year for me. Um, and then I don't know, maybe I'll rate it out of 10 at the end. So, first thing that happened this year is I got a new job. I got a new job in February and I've been loving it. It's been really nice. My last job, I loved it as well. And if anyone from my old job is listening to this, shout out to you. I miss all you guys. Um, it was just to a point where I just needed a change. I was just ready for a change, and I felt that it was the right time. And an offer came in, right around the point in time when I was feeling that. Took the offer, took the leap of faith, and it has turned out really, really well. Since I've had the new job, so I work remote, so I don't get to see my coworkers really face to face aside from over a camera on the computer webcam. But um, I've flown over to where our bank is based out of Las Vegas. So I've flown over there, met with the whole team. We've had some, we've chatted with each other. We've had dinner together. We did bowling together and stuff. So we had like a team building, like exercise thing back in I think September, and it was really great. Like everyone on our team is just really good people from all over the country. There's a guy all the way from Florida, and it took him forever, obviously, to get to Vegas and stuff. But like, it was cool to like meet all these people from all these different walks of life, and uh, that kind of came together because we're all in this one niche industry, and it was cool. Yeah, and like, I asked the Florida guy, I was like, "Do you really just find like alligators on the street? Like, are those like online videos like real?" He's like, "Yeah." Like that happens. That definitely happens. It's it's not a crazy thing. Um, you know, and all this stuff. So it's just really cool. Really cool. I've been really enjoying it and it's been great. So that was the first thing that happened this year was the new job. Uh and then our cousin got married, which was awesome. Very, very happy for her. Um it's always kind of surreal seeing like cousins of ours that are quite a bit younger than us get married. Um just 'cause like my image of a lot of these family members that are much younger than myself is like when we were kids together, you know? So like in my mind they're kids, but they're not. They're grown adults now. And I'm sure like, my our aunt and uncles like feel the same way about us and everything, but so it was just kind of weird to realize that I'm at that point in my life when I'm going, "Oh my gosh, you've grown up so fast." You know? Um, but that was good. It was really cool and really happy for her. Her husband's a great guy. I actually hope that I get more of a chance to interact with him because the little time that I did spend talking with him, I was really impressed. Um, one of Erica's close friends got married. Kenzie, if you're watching and listening, shout out to you and Noah. Congratulations. Um, Absolutely beautiful wedding reception and ceremony and everything. It was in Brigham City, so we went over there and it was great. So th those are kind of the two marriages, right?
Right.
Of people close to me and Erica. Um, Maybe I'll let you talk about this one since you're his brother, or did you want to talk about it or not?
Go for it. I'll definitely have thoughts.
Yeah, Alex's brother. went on his mission, and it was really cool to see. Really crazy how tall he's gotten. Um, he's just so tall, man. But um, he's one of those people that I know who have always been just such a gentle, kind soul that's so considerate of other people. And, he's shared that love with me, and I've had the privilege of being in his life and spending time with him, and I'm just so, so grateful. And um, he had such a good foundation of what kind of person that he was, and to see him grow up throughout high school and graduating high school and going on his mission, I could see the man that he was becoming. And I was really impressed and so proud of him. And I honestly cannot wait to see him again after he returns after a couple years, because, he's gonna share that love and kindness with so many different people and come back to even be more of a refined individual, right? So
Yeah.
that was cool to see him go.
It's been really interesting to watch because right, my older brother went on his mission and then I've gone on mine, and in the last year I've had two siblings start missions. And my sister's mission has been so drastically different from anything that I experienced.
Wait, did
Um,
she leave this year? She was last year, right?
she left in October of 24.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Um, but she like the challenges that she's faced have been the challenges that I heard about from other people on my mission, but ones that I never experienced. And the challenges that I faced, she hasn't had to deal with, which I'm so happy for it because I know um, the strain of those specific things, and I'm glad that she's had different learning experiences. But with my brother, it's been interesting because kind of opposite, it's been so similar in different ways. But while the difficulties have been the same, our reaction to those difficulties have been like mirrors of each other, where things that I really struggled with, he's experiencing but is doing really well with, whereas other times that gave me strength and I was able to kind of persevere through them a little bit simpler, or things that
Hmm.
are really, really difficult for him. And so it's been fascinating to see, and the way that his brain works in a very others first type of perspective and attitude has already allowed him so many learning opportunities and chances to be out there doing what he's meant to be doing and learning from it. And um, as an older brother that feels protective of all my siblings and especially the younger three, it's it's difficult to hear about some of the challenges, but it makes all those rewarding moments that they share as well, the more special and encouraging. And so yeah, it's been a change in our family dynamic for sure to have both of them, out and about and doing their own thing. But
Hmm.
it's been fun to watch at the same time.
Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting that there have been similar trials, but you've reacted differently to those things, and that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, any other things you want to bring up, or should I just keep going?
Keep going. I'll
Okay.
throw away one instance.
I finished my backyard concrete project that I started last year. Thank goodness. Back-breaking work, but I'm so glad that that is done. Uh, I could talk about that for like a solid hour, but nobody cares, so I'm gonna move on. Um, my bird, Moroni, I took her to the vet, and you know about this, but I took her to the vet because she's had this little lump, um, kind of underneath her abdomen that has just that I thought was a little strange, and I was, hoping it would eventually go away, but it hadn't. And I thought maybe she had an egg stuck in there or something. So I took her to the vet. The vet did x-rays and did all these things, blood tests and whatever. She has multiple cracked eggs inside of her reproductive system and needs surgery, or she probably won't survive another 12 months. I found this out uh, mid-October before we went to Japan, and I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast, have I? No.
No.
And it was just devastating news. It's the worst thing of this year for sure. The problem is, um, she needs surgery to get those cracked eggs out, but she can't get surgery because she's too fat. She's literally diagnosed obese. She's so fat, in fact, that when you take an x-ray of her, you can't see her heart because it's obscured by fat. That's how bad it is. And birds' lungs, they're kind of along the upper half of their backs, and she has so much fat that the fat has collapsed her lung capacity. So she can only breathe like 40-50% of what she's supposed to be able to breathe. So I had no idea, and this was kind of devastating news, but she's not doing so great. Um, so the goal has been get her on a diet. She can't eat the food she was eating before, and hopefully within a couple of months, she'll lose enough weight and be healthy enough that she will survive surgery, get surgery, and then be better. Normally, if she were a bird like a parakeet, a smaller bird, or birds that don't live as long, because she's about 10 years old now. I wouldn't be as devastated because she would only be like a year or two away from her, life expectancy, right? But cockatiels can live like 20, 25 years, no problem. So, she's only barely reached the halfway point of her lifespan. So I want to do everything I can to help her survive, and have a better life. So that is kind of the main thing that I'm working on right now. But thankfully, she's taken kindly to her new diet. She's eating the new food great. I think she actually likes it better than the old food, which is good. Um, so we'll see how that goes. So that's the number one sucky thing this year.
Yeah. And just to add, because I know how difficult this has been. SJ and I were talking about this, and then I was over at his house like a day or two after this vet appointment, and speaking to SJ's character, he had already changed out um, Moroni's cage, giving her a bit more space to move around and do some stuff. And I also I don't know a whole lot of people that own birds, but I know that SJ's always been very good about like just like letting Moroni fly around within the house, right? So like it was surprising to hear that she was as overweight as she is. But I mean, you figuring out her exact situation and making those moves as quickly as you did, I think shows how much you care for her, your desire to help her recover from this and get in the part where she's healthy enough to go under that surgery and get better and I'm glad to hear that things are going well in that front, especially with the new food. I know that can be difficult for pets. So fingers crossed and hoping that things continue to go well on that front and that around this time next year we have some better news on that front.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, she's kind of like the reason why there's a little bird logo, for our podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would be, yeah, anyway, hope it goes well. Hope it
He's
goes
good.
well. And thank you. Yeah.
You want to pause there because we're about to time
Oh,
out.
good point. Good point. Yep.
Okay, be right back.
We'll be back.
A few moments later.
Next thing I've got. So this one's still a downer, but not as much of a downer. And it's a fixable downer. Very quickly fixable downer. My car got hit in a parking lot. Some brother was just trucking along in his truck and turned, and he didn't realize how big his truck was and just boom into the front driver's side fender of my car. Thankfully, my wife was in the car to be like, "Hey, stop, you're hitting our car." And he had insurance, thankfully. But it was just another annoyance because that was shortly after I got the news that my bird is obese and needs surgery. And I'm like, okay, great. Now I got to figure out this insurance and repair situation with this guy. And, um, I'm glad he had insurance and he wasn't, he was very apologetic about it and all that, which is fine, but it was just another inconvenience. So I went through all that. The good part about this is that so um I went through his insurance because it was his fault, and his insurance gave me options of auto body repair shops to go to, and one of them was like Tesla's own dedicated repair facility. So I picked that one, and the whole process was just really seamless. Like I really got to give it up for the people that work at Tesla because like whenever I've gone into either the Tesla dealership or now this time the auto body shop, like you get communicated through text and through the in-app messaging system within the Tesla app. It's really seamless. They're really friendly. They they give you like cost estimates before they do anything. Like it's just all really, really good. And I was talking with them through the app. The only downside is like the wait time is usually kind of long. Um, Most often than not, ever since I think Elon laid off like a bunch of staff a number of years ago, a lot of places are short staffed, so the wait time to get in can be like 2 weeks or something before they have an open appointment to even look at your car. Um, but I was telling him, hey, I'm gonna be in Japan, so like I don't really have time to do this back and forth thing. I'm gonna be in Japan like toward the end of the first week of November, and they're like, oh, well, you can just leave your car here, and assuming we get the repairs done by the time you're back, we'll just have it available for you to pick up in the parking lot. So like I dropped it off, the lady came out, looked at the car with me, like, okay, here's the part that got bonked. And then when I came back, actually while I was in Japan, I told them I was going to be in Japan. So like, you're not going to be able to call me or anything, but if you go through the app, I'll have data, so I'll be able to communicate with you. So they sent me a message once the repairs were done. They're like, hey, repairs are done. It's all fine and dandy. Insurance is taken care of. We're communicating with them. Car's going to be ready for you to pick up at the parking lot when you're back. And then so I came back, went over to pick up the car. It was right there. Got in. Boom, done. And like nobody was there because it was Thanksgiving Day when we got back. But um it was just all seamless, man. Really, really good. So I've that's actually been surprisingly one of the things I've enjoyed most about owning a Tesla is like that experience. Um and when you need to buy like repair parts online, prices are reasonable, surprisingly. Um so the support has been awesome, man. It's been great. So
No,
that happened, and
I'm
it's
glad
all
to hear.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because I know that with the tire pressure monitoring system, right, there was kind of a snag, but I guess that was less so Tesla's fault and more so that other repair shops were just unaware or not as
It
communicative as they could have been regarding the process regarding it. But I'm
it
glad
was
this one
Tesla's
was
fault in the sense that they're short-staffed, right? So like
gotcha.
management needs to get them more people. The wait time was the only issue with that.
Right. But yeah, no,
But
glad that this one. um, you know, didn't have as much of a headache.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. Um, and the last thing, which is the best thing that happened this year, was going to Japan, obviously. So I could talk a lot about that, but the gist is we got to see two major castles in Japan. We went to Universal Studios, which included Nintendo World and Harry Potter World, and they also had like one specific like anime ride. Because like Erica really likes Spy Family, and we watched Spy Family, and they had like a Spy Family ride that we went on that was fun. Um, and Erica really likes Apothecary Diaries, and they had an Apothecary Diaries themed event happening where you solve like this puzzle, which is actually really good. You have to like go around the park and like, figure out this whole like poisoning situation. And you had to really think about it. Like they didn't just hand it to you. It was really good, really well done. And at the end of it, um, like these two people dressed as the two main characters from the anime like come out and greet you and thank you for it and stuff. It was really cool. Really cool. I was very impressed. And like just the whole park, man, Universal, it was awesome. It was really, really fun. For me, Nintendo World is definitely the highlight of Universal. But for Erica, it was Harry Potter World. She loved it, man. She loved it. Um, And then I got to see my a childhood friend of mine, and he took us around to a couple of places after we left that area. And then we met up with my mom and my stepdad, and got to see my grandpa over there, who's in an assisted living facility. Um, and then we went over to another area, did some more sightseeing, and yeah, I got to see a lot of parts of Japan that I'd never seen before. Because usually when I've gone to Japan, it's primarily, I go to the usual same old places that I like to go that I've been to in the past. But this time, almost everywhere we went were places I'd never been before, which was really cool. Um, yeah, yeah, I just feel so blessed this year that we were able to do that. And that the timing of everything worked out, and that Erica worked so hard, working so many overtime like weekend shifts to quickly accumulate her PTO so that she could go on this trip without losing pay. And um, a lot of hard work went into it, but um, yeah, I just feel really, really grateful that we had the opportunity to do this and see family and everything.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a great trip. I'm sure we'll talk more about it in the future, probably as we're recording Game of the Year episode as we're eating lunch together or something. But I was I was kind of following along little bits, right? Obviously seeing the uploads to Patreon, seeing Erica's Instagram um here and there. And it does beg the question because um would because I imagine based off of Erica's posts and her reactions how much she enjoyed the trip as well. Um, is there a possibility that you guys ever end up over there full time for whatever reason, just because, right, that's another part of your home and I'm just kind of curious if you guys have ever had that conversation or where you kind of stand on that.
We have had that conversation, and we actually had that conversation again while we were in Japan this
Mm.
time. She told me, like, even within a matter of like days after being in Japan, because this was her second time, right?
Right.
Um, she just felt so natural being there. Like, obviously, she stands out because she's a really tall redhead, but she just felt so natural being there, interacting with people. Like, she can't speak the language, but there are like a few phrases she understands and can say now. Um, and I asked her, I was like, if I said, "Hey, let's move to Japan," would you have like any hesitation? Like, would you just do it? She's like, "I would just do it. I would have zero hesitation. I'd have no problem living here." Uh, yeah. Um, it won't happen just because my job, what I do, I need to be able to talk with people that live in the United States within a United States time zone. And I also, um, I don't work directly for the government, but what I do relates to a certain government agency and stuff. So I don't think I could do my job from Japan. I'm sure I could get a job in Japan, but
Right, you wouldn't consider potentially switching industries or job functions to go be over there.
no, I really like my career path right now and my job, and I've worked pretty hard to get to this level within my career path,
Sure.
and I just couldn't restart it. I mean, and not to mention, right, like Japan is great and awesome, and I love it, but there are definitely things I would miss about the United States as well, because you know, I remember living in Japan and then moving to the States thinking like, oh, I love this about Utah, or I love this and this and this, all these things, right? So to an extent, like the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence,
Sure.
but yeah, so it won't happen. But if the opportunity ever presented itself in the future, it like in terms of job and career situation, it wouldn't be a hard no.
Mm,
That door is always open, but it's just not really realistic. And
I
I
see.
love living here, honestly, man. Like I love it here. I miss the food. I miss, a lot of people. I miss how a lot of society functions over there in that country. But um yeah, I love the United States of America as well, man. Like this is
Yeah.
it's a wonderful country and a wonderful place to be.
Yeah. No, I get it. That makes sense. That makes sense for sure. Yeah, cool. No, I mean it sounds like overall 2025 was a dang good year for you.
It was a good
Um,
one.
I think for me, a lot of this year has been kind of defined by irregularity or lack of consistency. Um, because I have had three different jobs, um, and an additional side job that I have kept throughout the year. Um, but that's a lot smaller and a lot more self-focused and just not what if someone were to come up and, oh, what are you doing for work? Like I'm never going to say this one side job is my main
Yeah.
focus. So there's been that, right? Obviously still being in school, right? Your schedule and your routine switches up three times a year between two semesters and a summer break. And like kind of similar for my amazing wife because of the jobs that I've taken, right? She's had long extended breaks and she's coming up on kind of finishing out her time in college, which will require a shift in her routine as she does her student teaching and stuff. So it's just been very all over the place. My family's had some stuff going on right between both siblings or two of my siblings being out on missions. Some people, my mom has been taken care of, very quickly deteriorating in their health, which has been challenging for her and seeing the burden and the weight that that puts on her life. But in spite of that, the year has been very good as well. And they're kind of minor things, but as silly as it sounds, music and movies this year have been so freaking good for me.
Hmm.
Um, at the beginning of the year, I got into a musical called Epic. I'm not sure how much you've been exposed to this, but it's a musical that tells the story of the Odyssey from Greek mythology. It's a little bit sanitized. It's not quite as he definitely changes some less than stellar aspects about our main character's character traits. Um, but this man wrote this entire musical himself and auditioned people for different parts through TikTok. And most of it actually came out before this year. I think actually the last album, because the way he broke it up into nine like 5 song mini albums that he released over time. And he started back in 23, and I think the last one actually came out Christmas Day of 2024. But I didn't start listening to it till January of this year because I wanted to have the entire thing good to go. And I don't know how much I've talked about this on the podcast, but I'm a Greek mythology hater.
Yeah.
I tend to not enjoy it. My favorite Greek mythology adaptation to this point has been Disney's Hercules, which is a very sanitized and whitewashed version of that story. It's just not my thing. There's something about it that doesn't really connect with me. And I've tried so many different versions of it that I've never quite understood why I didn't like it. But this musical, man, is so freaking good. It's unbelievably well written, and I just really, really enjoy it. Beyond that, my favorite musical artist of all time is John Bellion, and John Bellion hasn't released an album for 6 years, but he released one this year, and there's a whole story I could go into of why essentially his recording contract he did not like his recording contract. So he decided to wait it out with his label and said, all right, I won't release any solo music for 6 years. He's a songwriter as well. He writes a lot of popular songs for different artists, including Justin Bieber and the Jonas Brothers. He's written an Eminem and Rihanna song. Anyway, but he decided, all right, I'll just write for other people and then I'll wait until my contract lapses and then I'll do it all by myself. And he came out with an album this summer called Father Figure that is just such an insane work of art in every way. It's so good on so many levels. I could not glaze that album more. Like I will talk about it endlessly for how beautiful it is as an album. And like even going beyond that, I was scrolling through Instagram back in the beginning of October or the beginning of September, sometime really recently, and saw that some band was coming to Salt Lake that I'd never heard of, but the song on this Instagram promotion was really, really catchy. So I listened to it and then I listened to it some more, and then I listened to the rest of this band's music and fell in love with it. I told my youngest sister Lily about it, and she was like, "Oh, are you gonna go see him?" And I was like, "No, because it's not really Liv's vibe, and I don't really have anyone to go with." And she like volunteered on the spot. She's like, "I'll go with you." And tickets were like dirt cheap, like $25 a pop. So we
Wow.
bought tickets and ended up going, and that's the first concert that I have ever been to. Um, I have never been to a concert before this, but it was fantastic. The band's called Auto Heart. If any of you want to go check them out. But like on the music front, man, so much good music this year, and yeah, just
I
just
didn't know
couldn't.
you'd been to a concert this year. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, no, I mean it was really quick. I mean, from the time that I bought tickets, like the concert was like 3.5 weeks away, so it wasn't. It was a very quick thing, but
Nice.
yeah. So super grateful for my sister, right? Because I definitely wouldn't go to a concert alone. Um, if you do, like no shade or anything, that just is not. I would feel uncomfortable doing that. Like I would
Hmm.
feel like people are like, oh, why is this loner dude at this concert? The rest of us are trying to have fun, and I know that's irrational and probably a bit silly, but no. So super happy that she volunteered to go with me. Um, and I also wanted to bring up one specific movie that I saw this year that I really, really enjoyed a lot and continue to think about. And I think is something that kind of
it's been well received, but I think kind of gets overshadowed by the fact of what genre it's in. Superman, man, and I have held out talking about this. I have wanted to talk about this on the podcast since I saw it back in the beginning of the summer, but I have waited specifically for this moment. If any of you listening have not seen the new Superman movie, you should go watch it. Like, as soon as this episode is done, go watch Superman. It is so good, man. It
I
and I'm
I try
not. Go
I
ahead.
tried to find that movie on the airplane.
Mm.
But that was the one Superman movie that just was not there. I was really sad
Oh.
because I had heard so many good things about it from so many different people, and I was like, oh, finally, like we get a decent DC movie.
Mhm.
So I definitely want to watch it, but I have not had the chance yet.
It's so good. And this is coming from someone who's not a big Superman fan.
Hmm.
My main connection to the Superman character is from the Justice League cartoons that came back out in the
Based,
early 2000s.
absolutely the best.
Um, like all other Superman movies, I've always found kind of boring because like Superman's just so strong
He's
and
OP. Yeah.
is kind of like a goody two shoes. But dude, this movie, man, like there are so many moments that I could talk about. The opening is fantastic. The score is phenomenal, taking what's been done in Superman media before and building on top of it. The visuals are just so welcoming, and you keep that good-natured person that Superman is, um, without it becoming boring because of some of the ways that they kind of handle the story throughout it. And this specific iteration of Superman definitely reminds me of my little brother. And this movie came out right after he started his mission, so I'm sure there's some emotional resonance
Oh man.
and connection there. There's one specific scene that like just the way that it's shot is so stylistic. It's okay. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about it. I'll wait until you have the chance to see it at some point, however long that takes, before I talk in more detail about it. But
Hmm.
like I think the same way that you and Erica talked about K-pop Demon Hunters earlier this year on the podcast is how I feel about that Superman movie. I think that it legitimately inspired things in me and gave me certain things that I hadn't seen in movies in a few years. Probably since the second Spider-Verse movie came out. But it's so good and fully recommend it. I've watched it multiple times. It's on HBO Max, which
Dang
Liv
it.
pays for just so that she can watch Harry Potter. Um,
Wait,
although,
the movies?
yeah,
Why not just buy the movies and you don't have a subscription?
it's great. It's a great question, isn't it? At this point, there's enough that we watch on HBO
Okay,
that
okay.
it's fine. But and
Yeah.
I think anyway. Um,
Mm.
but
I'll
yeah,
have to
dude,
check it out, man. I gotta watch it for sure.
so good. Yeah. Anyway, um, music,
Just
movies. Yeah.
just along the same veins of that, I won't go into it because I've already talked about it a lot on the podcast, but you did bring it up, K-pop Demon Hunters. That
Mhm.
was the best movie that I've seen in the last several years. Granted, Erica and I haven't seen a lot of movies because we've been in this like movie drought for us where we just have not been interested in like anything that's come out in so many years. And like every now and then there might be one that's like, that might be interesting, but then like we're not interested enough to like go watch it at the movie theaters, right? So we just really haven't watched many movies. So, um, but yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters, like a lot of people are gonna say, oh, it's overhyped, it's overplayed. I totally disagree. I don't think it's overhyped. I think it's loved by so many people of so many different ages because it's so good. Um, Erica would argue that the word overhyped is incorrect in and of itself because if it's hyped by so many people and so many people love it, how can it be overhyped? Um, is because right? But
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the case, but anyway, fantastic movie. Best piece of media I consumed this year.
And I mean, in that episode, if any of you remember, I was a bit less enthralled by it. I think with time, I have more of an appreciation for it. I've seen it again since I watched it the first time. Um, and yeah, I mean, even I think at the very least, it's worth a watch. I think people that probably haven't seen it at this point are either because the music is played on the radio so much, or they
Hmm.
just are like I don't have an interest in watching it. I do think that it's a movie that um while you might not fall in love with it as much as everyone else has, I think there's enough in it that I'd be shocked if anybody could legitimately watch it and say like there was nothing in that for me. I think there's enough to
Right.
appreciate that everyone can at least find something.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, also recommend that. Um and then the last thing that I kind of wanted to share from myself for this year um, is actually an area of what I would deem failure for myself. Because I go through phases with this specific hobby. I'm talking about reading. Um, I want to be someone who considers themselves a reader. And for various reasons at this point in my life, it comes and goes in phases. Whereas last year, I feel like I did a really good job. I think my goal was a book a month, which is not a lot. I know it's not a lot,
I think that's more than most.
but I beat that goal, right? And I was
Yeah.
really happy. And so my goal this year was to hit 20 in a year. And I did not come remotely close to that. Which is a real shame because with me reading is one of those things that like as soon as I start, like I enjoy doing it. But I'll read, on a Sunday evening before I go to bed, and then on Monday, like I just have no drive to go back to it. I think part of it has to do with my schedule, right? The fact that like I really don't wrap up and start unwinding from the day until 8 or 9 p.m. most of the time between school and work and homework.
Hmm.
And at that point, I'm like, I'd much rather have a more passive hobby than reading. But I can't even use that excuse because on the weekends because I do what I do during the weekday, like my weekends are very open a lot of the time, I still won't choose to read. I'll do other things instead, even though I definitely have the brain power for it. Which is a shame because the books that I've read this year, I've really enjoyed. I read a book by Neil Gaiman called American Gods, which is an attempt to show traditional mythological gods, right, from Norse and African and Greek mythology, and how they're combating what people worship nowadays and stuff like media and technology instead. Um, and it's an old book; it's not new by any means, but like really enjoyed it. But it took me like a long time to get through. And then I started a Brandon Sanderson book, which again, like as I'm reading it, I really enjoy, but and like when I start reading, I'll read, a good 3 or 4 chapters before putting it down. But then I'll go a week without touching the book again, which is a shame. So I guess I share this as a way to kind of be held accountable for my goal going into next year, which will again be 20 books in 2026. We'll see how well that goes. I'm hoping for the best, but yeah, just thought I would share that as well because as good as this year has been, there's definitely still areas for improvement, and that is one of the things that I'm gonna attempt to do.
Very nice, man. Well, very nice. I'm sure you'll do great. Uh, Erica is an avid reader. She's in a little book club with
Mm.
a couple of her friends, and I think that kind of social environment helps too, because one person picks a book and then you've got to read it within a given period of time so that you can discuss it at the end of that period, and then another person picks a book and then you do this. And she's been doing that for I think this whole year. They started doing it sometime this year, I think, or maybe last year. But speaking of hobbies, though, I don't know why I didn't think about this, but I started playing pickleball regularly this year with my dear friend Jordan and a couple of our other friends. Shout out to Jordan, Patreon supporter. Um, it's been really, really fun. Like, I have completely fallen in love with the sport. I love the flexibility of it, that you can play as singles or doubles. I love that um, we recruited someone new this year and into our little group. And so we now have four of us that are regular, which is the perfect number for regular people, right? Every now and then we'll get like an extra one or two, and then we'll just like cycle people out after playing a match of like 5 points or something. But the four of us have come really close in terms of like skill level. There's, each person has like different strengths and weaknesses and stuff, but like whenever we play doubles with the four of us, usually it's almost always like pretty close. Um, and I love that competition when skill levels are like really close. And it's been awesome. And honestly, a great way for me to get regular exercise other than just like, you know, lifting weights and doing push-ups at my house. Um, it helps me move muscles in my bodies in ways that I otherwise wouldn't. And we did that every single week for the majority of the year. And it's getting a little cold now, so I don't know if we're gonna resume for this season. We'll see. I actually, this week I sent a text out and I was like, anyone down for pickleball? I know it's like freezing temperature, but I'm down if you guys are. But it didn't happen, so we'll see. But yeah, that's a good thing that I'm really glad is now a regular part of my schedule when it's warm enough.
Nice. Nice.
So
So to wrap up, out of 10, 2025 is a
I would say 8.5 out of 10.
nice.
It would honestly be a 10 out of 10 if it weren't for my bird. The only
Yeah.
thing holding it back. But yeah, really good though. How about you?
Yeah, I would say like an 8. A lot of good stuff. Obviously don't have enough time to do an in-depth review on this podcast of everything. A lot of good stuff. Couple downers here and there, a couple things that I hope work out a little bit differently next year, but excited for what 2026 brings and yeah, it's good.
Good stuff, man. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. Thanks for sticking around. And why did you obviously don't share things that are too personal, but please let us know, how was your year? Did you have any highlights? Were there some things that just maybe let's stick to the highlights, so that we don't prompt us to talk about
We
personal or sad things, right?
yeah, we don't
Uh,
we, we don't want to cause
uh,
seasonal depression in the Discord.
yeah, exactly,
So
exactly. Yeah, what happened that you enjoyed? What were some fun stuff? Did you buy anything fun? Did you visit any place? Maybe spend time with family, whatever. Please share them in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord and don't want to join Discord, you can always email us. We haven't gotten emails in a while, but that's always an option as well. Um, thank you very much. And before I pull up Patreon, you got anything else, Alex?
yeah, I just want to say I know the holidays can be either a very, very positive time or a very, very fragile time. I hope that we've cultivated a type of community within our Discord where if this is a more difficult time of the year or sad time for whatever reason, that you're able to find a little bit of comfort either through our episodes or through the people that you chat with in Discord. Um, obviously, right, there's a bit of separation between us and you, but I know that pretty much every member of the Discord has a pretty close relationship with one of us at the very least. I can't speak for SJ, but I'm sure it's the same where if you need anything, of course, always reach out. We're happy to support in any way that we can. So just let us know if you need anything, because we want everyone to finish out the year strong and to have something positive to be looking forward to.
Absolutely, wholeheartedly. Could not agree more. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. We have our Down Earth Cockatiels, Joshua, Tyler, Matthew, and thank you to our Down Earth Parakeets, Jay Maurer, Nicholas, Noah, and Qualthorn. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
We'll see you then. Bye bye.